So, what do I think the future of the PS Vita is? Well, before we get to that, let's talk about a couple of things. The Vita is 3 years old, and according to Wikipedia, it has sold 4 million units, which I don't think is true. Now, I've read other articles, and they reckon that worldwide units wise, you could put this at maybe 16 million, which I think's pretty reasonable. I mean, it's sold like hotcakes in Japan, and it has sold around the world, just nowhere near that of Japan. So where does the future lie? Well, I think for this year there is going to be a steady stream of AAA. There's going to be a steady stream of AAA games and indie games. But what happens to next year, I do not know. Now, there's kind of two ways the Vita can go. The first is that basically after this year, that's it. I mean, pretty much all support, dries up and it ends up being a dead system. Or it can go the other way, and while Japanese developers and indie developers keep putting out games, the system will live. But also, I believe that the system could come back if Sony re-released it, took out features that were never used, put in SD card memory support, put in a micro HDMI port, and maybe did a few tweaks like putting in some L2 and R2 buttons and things like that. I think if Sony re-released a unit with those changes, I think it would sell really well, and also at a lower price point, maybe like £100. I think if they did all those changes, lowered the price, I think it would sell, because you think about it, if you were to buy this so-called brand new revised unit, let's call it hypothetically a PS Vita 3000. You buy it, you bung in a 64 gigabyte SD card, and you're laughing. There's loads of software. If Sony did that, I think the Vita could come back. But the thing is, though, whatever happens with the Vita, I don't think Sony's going to make it a successor. I mean, they've said several times that there is no market for it, which there isn't really. Tablets, mobile phones have kind of taken away the handheld market. So whatever happens to the Vita, unless it comes back in a huge way, Sony's just supporting it, just so they're not screwing over the fans. Because you've got to bear in mind, Sony's always had a 10-year support for all the products, and they have supported their products for 10 years. I mean, the Vita, there's no way, unless things change with it, there's no way they're going to support it for 10 years. But they have said, as long as indie developers keep putting out titles, they'll keep supporting it. So, what do you guys think? I mean, do you think that the Vita's dead? Do you think the Vita's dead after this year? Do you think it will, it will carry on for a couple more years with a slow stream of indie titles? I'm curious. I love the Vita, and I hope it has a future. So I'd love to hear what you guys think.